Hey everyone, this is Beth from Art by Bedell, and today I want to make a coin envelope. So I have a half a piece of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and I want it to be so I see these ladies on the back side. So it's going to go like this, because I'll have this side glued down on my page and this side up, and then I'll fold up my bottom, and then I'll fold down my top here. All right, and then I'm going to unfold all of that. Take my scissors diagonally, let's make a snip here, and go a little bit below our line here. And make another diagonal and cut that off. And the same thing over here. Go diagonally, go a little bit below our folded line, and then up to there. So we have something that looks like this. It's below, and then it comes up. Down on the bottom, we're going to do the same thing, only we're not going to go below. We're just going to cut across our line like this, and then come up diagonally and take that corner out. The same thing over here. Come across diagonally, cut that corner out. And this will come up like that. And then, oh, that's our top. And this will come up like that. And that's going to create our coin envelope. Now, first off, I want to take the whole thing and ink up around the edges. All right, so as I fold this and glue it together, I'm going to glue the left flap and the right flap in together first. I did not want to glue this in underneath those flaps, because then when you put something down inside, it's going to catch on it. There. Now I want to cut a hole here, a thumbnail hole. I'm going to do that with my 1 1/4 inch punch and putting it in not quite halfway. We can't really see what we're doing here, but I'm thinking about there. Yep, good. So there we have our thumb hole, and we have our coin pocket. I want to put the coin pocket down in the corner, creating a tuck spot here. I also want to lighten up the page a little, so I'm going to take my gesso and I'm going to add just a little wash of gesso on pretty much the inside of the page. Of gesso. There we go. I love this gesso stuff. And that's a light coat, so it's going to dry rather quickly. Okay, to make my closure, I have these little chipboard circles. They're about 5/8, maybe a half an inch wide, and I'll need 4 of them. So I'm going to take 2 and stack them together, glue them together. I just put a dab of glue in between them both, making like an Oreo sandwich, Oreo cookie. Now I'm going to take my coin envelope. I'm going to glue one to the top, about the middle of the cover flap, and then one a little bit further down. Should go about here. Then I want to take a punch, and it's a 5/8 inch circle punch, a little scrap of this paper. I'm going to punch out 2 circles. Actually, I'm going to do 4. And then I'm going to glue 2 of each of those together. And then I want to ink up around the edge of those. And then I will glue them on top of the chipboard. There we go. Now I'll find some little string that I want to use. Let's see what I have picked out for ribbon, if anything is small enough. All right, so I don't have any ribbon that's small enough. I'm going to use some embroidery floss. And I have some brown here that I'll probably be using throughout the journal. What I want to do is to tie a little slip knot here. My hands are cold this morning, and I'm having a hard time doing anything with moving them. So I have my slip knot, and I will put that around my top circle like this. And it came undone. It didn't come undone, it slipped out. Try this again. Put my slip knot around my top circle and then pull it tight, being careful not to rip off your There you go. And if you pull it tight enough, it shouldn't move. And then I will snip this end a little bit, and then I just will have enough to make a figure 8 to go around the bottom, around the top once. Okay, so let's go the opposite way. Around the bottom, around the top once. And back down. My knot is getting in the way. There we go. And back down to the bottom. There we go. So that creates our coin envelope that we want to put on our page. Now over here on our page, we want to add something underneath this. It doesn't stand out. So let's take a piece of our cardstock that we have and layer that on there. I have like 2 shades of cardstock that I want to use throughout this. And this is a little bit brighter. I'm going to go with that one for here. And we have to determine, okay, so if we're going to have a tuck spot, let's make it about here. And about here. And ink up around the edge of that. That'll make that stand out on our page better. Just like that. And we could have it going this way. So we have a pocket, or this way. I'm going to change my mind and go this way. And then I'm going to add another piece of paper underneath that. And I want to use a piece of this on here, like this. Yes, that's what I want to do. There, and then we can glue that all down. On the back piece, actually we can make 2 pockets. So let's glue our coin pocket to our cardstock, gluing the whole back side. Then let's take it and glue it to our cardstock and our coin envelope down on our digital printable. And we're going to glue it on the 2 sides and the bottom so that we create a pocket there. Now, before I glue this whole piece down onto my page, I want to go stitch around it. There. There's our coin envelope and 2 pockets. So let's glue this down onto the page. Now that we have that part done, I need to make a tag to go inside. I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock, and actually that's just big enough. So let's use that. Okay, so I skipped out for a minute or two. What I have done is I made my tag out of my cardstock the size I wanted, and then I added some scrapbook paper here and some of the digital here, and then I used my plastic stencil, my plastic tablecloth doily, and I applied, using just the edge around it here, some embossing paste here and here. Now I need to let that dry. While that's drying, I'll just set that aside. Let's make a card to go inside our coin pocket, coin envelope here. So again, we're going to use a piece of the cardstock, and that's a little bit too wide, but let's get it cut down to the length that we want, which is probably right about there. Then we can take our straight edge that I have paint trimmer that I use, and we'll take off some of the width, trying to make it even. And let's take off this edge on the bottom and make that also a torn look to it. There we go. Now we have a tag that shouldn't fit inside our coin envelope. Yes, just like that. Let's ink up around the edge of that. Actually, I think for this journal, I want around the corners also. So I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile Chomper here and round all these corners at 1/2 of an inch. I may be too late on the big tag because we'll try to remember to do this on everything else. If not, some of our things will be rounded and some of them won't. So this cardstock is a little bit textured on one side and not on the other. So the side that's textured, I'll use for my front, for my collage, and the back is going to be used for the journaling. And as always, usual, not always, on my journaling cards, I'll add some lines. And then we have some of this paper that we can use. And this is directional paper, so it's got to remember that. Of course, it wouldn't hurt anything if it was put on upside down or crosswise or whatever. But we're going to do some of this. On the bottom. And then the brown paper that we put on the big tag, we'll put a piece of that on there also. This brown paper is from Recollections, and it's called the Bouquet Basics. I used it in some of it in my last journal that I made, the French Preppy. I used this paper pack as my secondary paper pack. We're not going to add any embossing to this. Our eyelets that I want to use on this are going to be gold. And then I have a variety of ribbons that I'm going to use. I'm not going to stick to just one. I picked out quite a few actually. So I'll just punch my 3/16 inch hole here for my eyelet about in the center. Put my eyelet down through and then give it a crimp. There we go. And also for not only the lace, but the ribbon, I have picked out a variety of ribbon to use also for this project. Let's see if this one's too wide to go down through our, nope. Works just perfect. Although, is it going to work just perfect for our coin envelope? We can, no guys, that was probably, we will have to tuck it down inside. So put it on the back and put this in here and tuck it down inside like that so that we can close our coin envelope. Or we can take it off and not have it there. I think that would be the better thing. And then out of our ephemera, let's use Happiness. It's pretty big. Find a smaller one. There's a smaller Happiness. A little piece of Mommy Gummy behind our Happiness, and a scrap piece of lace. So I have some of this, but I want to add a piece of that to this. Let's glue everything down again. I have a little piece of this ribbon, so I think maybe just a smaller piece of ribbon through our eyelet. I couldn't just let it go that I didn't have anything through that eyelet. I think this will stay out of the way, especially if I cut them short. Smaller is better in this case, even if it wasn't exactly what I wanted. Now let's try our tag inside our coin envelope. It fits right down inside there. That ribbon does not get in the way of us closing up our envelope either. There we go. So I will finish these when this dries. I don't like taking a heat gun to it because I don't want to take the chance of this modeling paste here bubbling up. So I'll be back. All right, so I've chosen like a paper for some collage here and a piece of lace. And I want to add some green to this, but I didn't find any papers that I had that would match the green that's in the kit. So I chose sap green watercolor, and I thought, well, that's just a little bit too bright. So then I pulled out the olive green, and it was just a little bit too, it went better than the sap green. Now that I'm looking at it, maybe it's just right, actually. I think I'll go with the sap green. What I'm going to probably do is take the sap green and the olive green and mix them up a little bit so that I can have the color that I want. Anyhow, I want to add a little green to this. So I'm going to do so with watercolor because I couldn't find a paper that had any green for a contrast. I'm looking for a little bit of contrast color to add to this other than just some pink and brown. And I think some of you probably know by now that my three favorite colors are pink, brown, and green. And so when I have pink and brown together, and if I don't get any green on that, it feels like it's not complete. So anyhow, here we go. We're adding just a little bit of color here and there on our project, adding some green. Over on the coin envelope, I did a collage with some of the brown paper, some mamigami, and a piece of lace. And I want to add just a little bit of green on that also. And it's going to be subtle. It's not going to be like overpowering or anything. It's just going to be a hint of another color. So there we have that. And up top on this page, let's add some to our layer that I have chosen. And just maybe around the edges or whatever, just to get some green in there. And then we'll have our lace, and then we'll have another focal point onto that. So that's how I am coming up with my green for my accent color. Let's go back to our tag. Put this water aside before I spill it. And let's figure out what we want to do. Now, this is our embossing. I am not going to add color to that because white is the color that I want on there. And I'm going to glue that down there and this probably here. But I need something more here. So I will go to my box of ephemera that I have for this journal and figure out what I want to put on here. Now, there's some butterflies. I mean, they just seem to be the wrong color to me, and that green is the wrong color to me also. So I really don't want to add that as my focal point. I have a key on the other side. I could do a quote. I have picked out some quotes. Here's one from, I kind of like that quote on there. I'm thinking, the distance is nothing when one has a motive. And that's from Pride and Prejudice. It has our green already on it. It has our pink on it. Let's add a little bit of the brown. And then let's put this up here like that and call the card done. The journaling card's done. And on the back side, I have stamped with the line stamp for the journaling spot. So we'll put a little glue on here and put this right here in the top corner. And I can tell you now that the glue stick, and I should have been thinking about that, will not hold onto the modeling paste. So let's get our other glue out. There we go. And put this on here like this. And then we'll put our piece of lace on the top of the page like that. And then our quote. We can't hide our quote, so let's rethink the lace thing. Let's put the quote up here, and then let's put the lace down below. Maybe there would be good. Had I not had, I have glue on this. Well, it's too late now. So there we go. I don't like the lace there. So that's coming off. We'll get a baby wipe and dab up that glue. There we go. Well, as soon as I put that there, it's like, that's not a good place for that. We're going to take this piece of lace, we're going to fold it in half, and we're going to use it as our tab. So we'll take out our staple gun. Let's get our lace folded in half. We don't want to cover up our quote, so let's put our tab over here on the side. There we go. And then staple that twice. That makes a pretty journal card to go down inside our pocket that we have here, like that. Now I want just a little collage element up here on the top, and it can also be a page tab up here too, maybe using our paper and having just like a bigger page tab up here with a bigger piece of the lace. I'm thinking I might like that idea better than a collage element up there. And then just have a page tab up there that matches the page tab. And we could even do a side one over here Now let's put this down inside so that we can take a peek at the best place to have another page tab. I like to do it on this corner, but I'm not sure that I want them like that. So I think I'm going to put it over here on the inside corner and have them more like that. Then you've got 1, 2, 3 in a triangle. We are good to go. So we will also staple that down. There, I'm good with that being there like that. And we're not covering up very much of our embossing that I thought was a pretty lacy addition to our page. We have a nice journaling card here. And then we have a coin pocket down here with another journaling card. There we go, guys. That's our project for today in our Valentine journal. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye now.